There are many coasters that get unnoticed by much of the coaster community, and I tried to find a bunch of interesting ones that I hope none of them you'll have ever heard of. But first, we'll start with some honorable mentions. You'll have seen this one in the thumbnail. It's a PAX 4D coaster concept, and only about 200 people have seen it. The footage you're seeing right now is screen recorded from RooTube.com. I can't really use downloaders for that, because no one cares about RooTube. But there's also a type that seems a little smaller that you can find their brochure. There's only one picture of it. Aside from that, it's compact, and it does look like it hits a lot of G's when pulling out, but otherwise it looks like not that bad of a ride, although I don't know how PAX coasters really ride. Next are two that I have never heard of, but they're actually not that uncommon or unheard of. These are two coasters at Hong Kong Disneyland. Big Grizzly Mountain Runaway Mine Cars, which is just Expedition Everest, but not. And then RC. That one is an Intamin Surfrider half-pipe thing, but it goes beyond vertical, and it's got like the weird casing. I don't know. It's apparently also at Disneyland Paris and Shanghai Disney. I've just never heard of them, but I guess most people probably have. Okay, so starting off with the real list, we have Diving Coaster. This is a Zamperla Wild Mouse, but it's more similar to a Gerstlauer bobsled. Like, it's got all the bank turns, and it's not all Wild Mouse, which is a very uncommon layout type, except for from Gerstlauer. And there's no other coaster like it. Jet Coaster is a SB&O coaster. It's a Meisho, I don't know how to pronounce it, designed coaster and built. It's a very common coaster in Asia, I guess, but it's basically a Zero Tivoli, but scuffed. It's, I think, the most common coaster type in North Korea, although there might actually be more jungle mice out of the 7 coasters in North Korea. It's just a bunch of the big one, but not as steep. Bunch of ramps and helixes. Next is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That's a phrase I've heard used. I don't really know what it means, and it's a weird thing to use for a roller coaster. This is also at a dinosaur-themed park, and you'll go in the mouth of a dinosaur, which I actually thought was the dragon, but it's not. It's a dinosaur. Anyway, this is the second Jinma vertical coaster. It's basically the first one. Next, we have Thrilling Coaster. This one's a very common model. It's designed by Hebei. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's one of the Chinese manufacturers. It's just a model that, has 3 rings. One of them's a helix, one of them's a loop, one of them's a corkscrew. It's not that weird, but I haven't heard anyone talk about it. Next, we have Roller Coaster. I know. Very descriptive. This is a Nanfang Amusement Rides coaster. It's like Maurer mixed with Mach. Mixed with Vekoma track, it looks like. Basically, it's a spinner, but with Maurer cars, but they're all connected in a 4-car row, like Mach ones. It's also an amusement park with Jungle Trailblazer. It's a Jinma family coaster. I'm sure you've heard of the numerous Gravity Group ones. This is not one of them. I know, pretty creative names over there in China. Next, we have Zijin Adventure. This is a weird one. It's kind of I don't even know how to describe it. They're kind of similar to Zamperla Twister coaster trains. But they have clamshell restraints. And it's also like a dark ride, so it's kind of Primordial-esque. I don't know, it's pretty weird. All enclosed. We've also got Flying Wing Coaster. This is a B&M wing coaster. I know you couldn't figure out if it was a flying coaster or a wing coaster. It's a wing coaster. This is just the only B&M wing coaster I've never heard discussed by anyone, but it's a pretty normal wing coaster. It's a clone of Forest Predator, but it's actually not the clone. It is the original. Finally, we have our last coaster. This one's really interesting. It's a Mars spinner, which it's just one of the basic layouts, but it's in Lebanon. And that is an amazing setting. I don't know if I'll be able to find any more pictures for you because I haven't edited this yet, but if you can see this one picture, that is a stunning setting. You drop like off a cliff into the forest. It's amazing. This got relocated to India as spinning coasters at Wonderla Amusement Park, Bhubaneswar, and it's still operating, just opened this season, even though it closed back in 2011 in Lebanon. It is the SC3000 model.